Good day and welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Bridges. In each episode, we dive into practical business strategies that you can put to work in your business right away. We also focus on inspiring stories from leaders who are shaking and making things happen in their industry. It's all about giving you the tools and insights to take you and your business to the next level. So get comfortable and let's jump right in. All right. We are on episode 178 of the podcast. Today's date is Friday, December 20th, 2024. You know, it's just a few days before Christmas, about a week before New Year's. And these holidays are in full swing. Now, if you're anything like me, this can all feel like a juggling act. And we've kind of discussed that in the past. You know, you're trying to wrap up business goals, maybe planning for next year, and of course, making time for family and the festivities. It's a lot to manage, but we're at least not tackling it alone. And today we're diving into the holiday blueprint, finding purpose through reflection. Now, this isn't about squeezing more tasks into your day. It's about stepping back, reflecting, and creating a plan that lets you enjoy the holidays and keep your business on track. On our agenda today, we're going to be covering a quote from Winston Churchill. We're going to look at the power of reflection as a tool for action. We're going to take a look at a simple but effective way to prioritize what matters most this season. And finally, how to take your insights and turn them into purposeful plans. By the end of this episode, my hope is that you'll have a framework to not only survive the holiday chaos, but thrive in it. So let's get started. Let's dive into our quote of the day and get words that set the tone perfectly for today. Winston Churchill once said, "Christmas is a season not only of rejoicing, but of reflection." Now, if we think about that for a moment, we realize the holidays are more than just a busy season. They're a chance to pause, take stock, and celebrate what matters most to us and to those around us. Reflection gives us clarity and focus, and from that comes the power to move forward with purpose. So we're going to dig into that and talk about reflection as the key to purposeful action. Talking about reflection for a moment. When we hear the word, it might feel like something that's passive, just sitting and thinking. But reflection is the first step in creating purposeful action. Why does reflection matter? It allows us to pause and look at the big picture, especially during a time of year when we're usually caught up in the details. Without it, we're just reacting to what's happening instead of choosing how to move forward. Here are some signs that I've seen in my own life, and you might see them in yours, that you might be missing reflection. Number 1, you feel stuck, like you're running in circles. Number 2, your goals seem fuzzy and you're not sure if what you're doing is working. And 3, you're constantly overwhelmed, juggling priorities without knowing what's truly important. But let's take that and look at the flip side. When you take the time to reflect, even for just 15 or 20 minutes a day, you start seeing patterns and clarity emerges. Maybe you notice a win you hadn't celebrated, or maybe you spot a habit or a task that's holding you back. I've found that one of the simplest ways to reflect is to ask yourself 3 simple questions. What worked well this year? What didn't work? And what's one thing I want to focus on next year? Now, you can just jot down some notes. It doesn't have to be perfect or profound, but it's about creating a foundation for clarity. So, reflection is great. What's next? Okay, we've got our 3 things that we worked on. We've got some notes about them. Let's talk about the holiday reflection grid. I always like to give simple tools that can help you organize your thoughts into actionable insights. So here's one of them. First thing to do is look at your accomplishments. What are your biggest wins this year, both in business and in life? Celebrate these. It creates momentum for next year. The next one is challenges. What were the sticking points? And more importantly, what can you learn from them? Third is gratitude. What are you thankful for? See, gratitude, as I've learned it, shifts our focus to the positive, even in our tough times. It forces us a little humility, humbleness to come into our life because the world isn't always centered around us. And by being centered around things that might make a difference in your life outside of you, it makes it easier to stay positive. And finally, what are your growth opportunities? Where can you improve, and what does that look like in 2025? Now, the beauty of this grid is its simplicity. You can do it in 20 minutes over coffee, tea, whatever you drink, or while you're winding down at night. And it's a good tool to revisit with your team or even your family. I personally use it as well at the end of year as good for quarterly reflections. For me, focusing on gratitude during this time of year always shifts my perspective. It reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it helps me prioritize what really matters. Now, let's turn some insights into action. Reflection isn't just about looking back. It's about being prepared to move forward. Once you've filled out your holiday reflection grid, it's time to turn those insights into a plan. And here's how reflection drives purposeful action. Insights into your wins tell you where to double down. Challenges highlight areas for growth. Maybe it's a new skill, a tool, or a habit. Whatever it is, it's going to ultimately provide you with a certain degree of growth. And gratitude and growth opportunities point you towards priorities that feel meaningful. Let me give you an example. Let's say you reflect on a project this year that felt like it dragged on forever. Well, what was the challenge? Perhaps you didn't delegate enough. What's the growth opportunity? Next year, you might decide to delegate more effectively or hire extra help. And when you combine those, that single change can save you time and energy in the new year. Remember, action doesn't have to be big, dramatic changes. It's often small, consistent steps that create the biggest results over time. Start with just one or two priorities and build from there. So we're keeping it kind of short today. Let's do a quick recap on this episode. We started with the idea that reflection is the key to action, especially during a busy season like the holidays. We explored how the holiday reflection grid helps organize your thoughts and how to turn those insights into purposeful plans. Now, recently I posted an article in my newsletter called How to Turn Holiday Downtime into a Growth Advantage. It's fairly short, and you might gain some more benefit from reading it because you can add to what we've already covered in this particular podcast. Now, I'll be sure to put the link to the article in the show notes for the podcast. It should be down below. Now, next week, we'll continue this theme with an episode called Turning Reflection into Action, Preparing for an Exceptional New Year. If you're ready to hit the ground running in 2025, you don't want to miss it. Until then, I hope you take a few minutes this week to pause, reflect, and enjoy the season with your loved ones. That's it for this episode. I hope you picked up some valuable insights and maybe even sparked a few new ideas. If you want to keep the conversation going or maybe even explore partnerships, don't hesitate to reach out. And hey, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. The steps you take today could be the start of something big tomorrow. For the budding entrepreneur, I wish you the best in your health, your wealth, your business, your family, everything about you. Take care, and we'll see you back here next week.